They don't give out mid-season trophies. You want to know how we're going to get back in the AFC East race? Keep it here.
The NFL have really struggled here of late. So to find out what's going on down there, we sent Edward R. Marino
yes, sir.
over to the Dolphins camp.
And the Dolphins definitely have some problems, but how big are they really? It's hard to say because the problems are always magnified in the fishbowl. That is Miami.
Good job, man.
I don't know how in the world anybody's run on this Indianapolis team, the way they have shut down Ricky so far.
Last year when we were playing well and running the ball well, you know, we'd get on the field and literally we'd be 80 yards away and it would seem like it was, you know, 10 yards away. And now sometimes we get on the field and we're at the 50 and it seems like it's 200 yards away.
I told you he was going to smack Ricky today.
Right now, the team's a little shaken, I think. Confidence is shaken. Guys are frustrated, disappointed. You know, all the emotions that come into losing are still there.
This game has just been an absolute blowout.
We're not going out there not to lose the game on offense. We're not going out there to let our defense win the game for us. We have to have an attitude where we're going to go out and we're going to win on offense.
To me, you look like you're running hard all the time, but you had a quote saying that your style has changed a little bit. You're not maybe running as hard.
Around here, you know, people start to panic when, you know, we lose a couple of games and people start pointing fingers. And, you know, being a leader, I thought that if we each looked in the mirror and saw what we could do better, then we'd be a better team. And, you know, I always believe that no matter how hard I run, I can always run harder.
The media. This past week, they made a big deal out of you meeting with the owner, Mr. Huizenga. Has that affected the team or the players at all?
I haven't seen that on the practice field, Danny, and as a coach, that's what you judge. You know, in the meetings, the practices, anything different. Our guys have been great.
Maybe Wayne should talk to some of the players. I mean, we the guys that need to step up. Coach is taking a lot of heat. Wanstead has the same amount of tackles as Billick does this week, 0.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
There are some people out there trying to create division in the locker room and amongst the team, and you know, and trying to turn players against coach and coach against player, but we can't let that affect us.
Anybody that's lost a game or two, just get on the computer probably and get on and start hitting those cities, and you're going to find ugliness. And unfortunately, that's it's a tough deal. Mental toughness, part of it is dealing with the media, good and bad.
Is this a make or break game against Baltimore?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they got a great attitude, you know, and they're 5-4. They're not talking about all this drama. We are. We just can't believe all the garbage on the side, and the excuses got to go.
We got no choice. We got no choice but win.
I mean, it's two desperate dogs fighting it out, and you know how ugly that can get.
We're being challenged right now. We're going to find out what type of team we got and what type of people we got. When you're squeezed a little bit, you find out what's inside you.
Well, Dave Wanstead has taken some heat down there, but I talked to owner Wayne Huizenga. He's very supportive of him, and he's trying to help in any way he can with this team.
All right, guys, and of course, this game, Miami-Baltimore, we need to talk about this a little bit more. It is the subject of our Chalk Talk presented by CarQuest Auto Parts. What about it?
Well, the Miami Dolphins want to run the football. We all know that with Ricky Williams. They haven't been able to do that. And, guys, the pressure is going to be on Brian Griese, and it has been the last 3 weeks. They're going to stuff the line of scrimmage, make him make throws down the field, and he has turned the ball over 7 times in the last 2 games. If Miami turns it over, they don't win. They can't have the turnovers.
Do you know who Miami's playing against?
Baltimore, that's what I was saying.
No. They're playing against Sugar Ray Lewis.
Oh, take it over.
He's going to be in Greasy's face just like that. I mean, this guy is a beast. He's an animal. But I talked to some guys on the Baltimore team. They're putting Anthony Wright back at quarterback. And you know what they gave him? The same speech they gave Trent Dilfer. You don't have to win it, but baby, don't you lose it. And that's something he's going to do. Look for him to roll out. They're going to spread the offense, and he's going to rush for at least 40 yards this game to keep Baltimore's offense in the game.
You know, I talked to Brian Billick this week on Friday, and I asked him, I said, you know, you're in such dire straits for a quarterback. How about me? And with that, he hung up, and he said, I don't want you. So basically, here's the problem. I think Baltimore is definitely the best football team in the league. Pro Bowls at tight end, at tackle, great defense, great running back. But they went into the season with a rookie quarterback, and now they're paying a price for it.
You know, there might not be a touchdown scored in this game.
It's amazing what they did last Sunday, though, giving up 33, but only 121
Bring back
yards.
Jeff George.
Unbelievable.
Remember Ray Lewis. Just don't score. Just don't give them any points.
Lose
We'll
the
score.
game.
We'll
All right,
score for
here's
you.
our next question of the day. Who will win the AFC North? Will it?
So then you have to look at special teams. A team that scores on special teams in this game is probably going to win this game.
It's going to be a touchdown, but it might be defensively. Anthony Wright outplayed all the other quarterbacks in training camp, yet and still he was third team. I think he will surprise some folks today.
And I agree with Dion. Anthony Wright's going to be running all over the place. That's why Brian Bullock wanted to put him on there. Look for a lot of bootlegs, a lot of smash mouth football, a lot of guys just running up into the middle and just, this is going to be
like a
rugby
scrum.
It's just going to be bang, smash, all
yeah.
Sounds like one of our meetings.
Yes.
Hey, you really did the old bait and switch. I thought you were taking the Bengals all week.
Yeah, I was.
You were. Comes time for the official pick. He goes Kansas City. Enjoy the games coming up. For those of you scheduled to see a 4 o'clock game, we are back in just a moment.
Did you like
everyone else? It's game time on the NFL today. Enjoy it all on CBS.
Welcome to Miami, where the Baltimore Ravens, the leaders in the AFC North, meet the 5-4 Miami Dolphins. Hello, everyone, and for Miami, doom and gloom here in this city. They've won only 1 game in 4 home encounters.
And Dick, these two teams couldn't be more opposite. Baltimore feeling really good about themselves at 5-4. The Dolphins, though, under immense pressure. The expectations were so high, and they have not delivered. All right, let's go ahead and check out the Chevrolet keys to the game. First of all, stop the bleeding. 12 turnovers between these two teams last week, and get the big men moving. I have to believe the guy who outrushes the other, his team will win today.
But they'll have to do it against one of the top defenses in the league. Both Baltimore and Miami regarded very highly, and one of the reasons, look at the linebacker position. 2 of the greats in the league. Ray Lewis, perennial All-Pro, leads and tackles. Zach Thomas for the Miami Dolphins. He's their top tackler.
Brought to you by Damon's Grill. Use your Motorola phone to send your favorite NFL players to the Pro Bowl using AT&T wireless text messaging. Log on to NFL.com for complete ballot.
Following presentation of the National Football League on CBS Sports, home of Super Bowl 38.
Here in Miami, it'll be a battle of 2 of the top running games in the NFL, matched against 2 defiant defenses. Miami and Baltimore coming up. Blue skies, temperature in the 80s. A look at the standings in the AFC North. The Ravens a 1-game lead over surprising Cincinnati. And in the AFC East, New England with a 2-game edge on the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins favored to win the AFC East. Let's go down to the field now, and Bonnie Bernstein.
Dick, as you mentioned, home wins have been tough to come by, Dave. You've lost 2 straight. You're still trying to break in a new quarterback. How do you keep your team's confidence high against one of the better defenses in the league?
Well, you need to do it out here, obviously, on game day. You know, we had a good week of practice, and I believe our guys are confident. I mean, you'd like to be doing it on a lesser defense, but this is a big challenge for us. And for us to win, we got to get a little bit of rhythm on offense and mix it up. It's not going to be just one-dimensional.
Coach, thank you.
Expectations so high here in Miami that Wannstedt under a critical eye as his team has won all 3 meetings. All 3, incidentally, played here in South Florida. So Baltimore hoping they'll get a chance to host the Dolphins someday.
Yes, they're a little, they're thinking, wow, what's wrong with this 4 straight trip? Not that they don't like to come to South Florida, but I think all in all, we'd all rather be home.
Lamont Brightful, what a name. He will get this game started on the return under Bright's sunny skies. Had a 58-yarder against Jacksonville, his longest this year. Murray's kick roots it deep, and it'll be a 20-yard line on the kneel down by Brightful. And here comes the Baltimore offense, and from 3rd string to 1st string, it's Anthony Does he have the right stuff? The ex-Cowboy hasn't thrown a pass in 2 years. Look for him to run. 6'9", 340-pound giant tackle Jonathan Ogden, one of the premier linemen in the NFL, and Jamal Lewis. He leads the league in rushing, on course for a rare 2,000-yard season. Brian Billick, the coach of the Ravens, said, "I'd like to get 30, 40 yards rushing out of my quarterback today," right? But he comes out passing. And now caught in the backfield, and down he goes at the 18. The sack by Wale Ogunleye, and that gives him 10 sacks for the year amongst the NFL leaders.
Well, Ogunleye just having a career year, but this really is a coverage sack. Wright found nowhere to go with the football, and I think it goes without saying that Brian Billick told Anthony Wright, under no circumstances do you force the football. Do you try to find anything where a guy isn't clearly wide open? Otherwise, eat the football and try to run with it.
Right out of Trent Dilfer's playbook 3 years ago when they won the Super Bowl, right? And may have a false start here, a whistle, and it will be a 5-yard penalty against Baltimore. Orlando Brown, the right tackle, guilty. Here's a look at the Miami defense. Jason Taylor, he'll need all of his quickness to attack that mammoth Baltimore line. Zach Thomas missed last week, but his inspiration returns, and that's vital. And Pat Surtain, second in the NFL with 6 interceptions, but against the Ravens running game, it figures he'll be making a lot of tackles today. Zach Thomas zeroes in. Second down and long, and Jamal Lewis gets his first carry and breaks some tackles out across the 20 to the 22. And they had him 5 yards back, but Lewis at 245 pounds powers his way forward.
And Dick, for a minute I thought I was hallucinating. You have the NFL's leading rusher, you're on the road, and what does Brian Billick do? He opens up with a passing play. Wright gets sacked. He then goes for a passing play on their second play from scrimmage, and they get a false start. And finally, they give the ball to Jamal Lewis. And then what's he do? He comes out of the game.
Chester Taylor comes in on 3rd and long. It's 3rd down and about 7. Throw underneath. It's complete to Taylor, and he's across the 30 for a first down. The second-year running back from the University of Toledo. Taylor has his 14th catch of the year. Zach Thomas made the tackle.
Well, this is a staple of anybody's offense trying to play the Miami Dolphins, trying to get Zach Thomas in coverage on a crossing pattern. And when you see right there, when he's got to try to run to the sideline, you're asking so much of a middle linebacker to A, give away that little bit of position, and be in a trailing position right off the bat. And that's awfully tough for Zach to catch up.
And a good dig out of 2nd down and 17. And now it's Lewis back in there, and Jamal Lewis from Tennessee. You know, he seems with his great rookie year on the way to the Super Bowl that Lewis has been around forever, but he's only 24 years of age.
And just capable of extraordinary things. Such a big, powerful man. His thighs are just awesome. The power that Jamal Lewis carries from the waist down is nothing short of spectacular, and it is fun to watch him run. And then notice when he gets in the open, Dick, his separation.
He's got the speed to go with the size, and here he is again. It takes 3 Dolphins to stop him and push him back. Junior Seau leading the charge along with Moreland Greenwood and Zach Thomas.
This offensive line of the Baltimore Ravens is huge. Orlando Brown, number 78. You see Todd Heap, the tight end. Look at the good block he gets on Ogunleye. But boy, did you call it right, Dick. The first tackle, it looked like Lewis was going to win that battle. But then 2, 3, and 4 Dolphins cleaned up and finished it off. That is a big man, folks. 370-pound Orlando Brown.
Ravens with a first down at their 41, and Chester Taylor gives Lewis a spell and gets good yardage on first down, about 6 yards behind the biggest offensive line in the NFL, averaging just under 300 pounds a man.
And right now, Brian Billick has to be really happy with what his offensive football team is doing. What's he done already? One, he's given his quarterback confidence. He's let him throw the ball a couple times. He's completed a pass to move the sticks. Now he's got his running game going. Now he's moving towards midfield. Now he's going to let the big guys up front assert themselves.
Taylor remains in at running back, and it's play action. And the right fires complete to Todd Heap, the tight end, a Pro Bowler, has a first down into Miami territory, or very close. Yes, they spotted at the 48. That will be a first down. Moreland Greenwood, the tackler, and Zach Thomas in this Miami defense sees Baltimore rack up 3 quick first downs and invade Dolphin territory.
Well, this is what Anthony Wright brings to the mix for this Baltimore offense, are his legs. The guy can throw the football, but it's his movement that Brian Billick is really counting on to counter some of this team speed Miami has defensively.
Right, an expectant father, his wife is due deliver their first child Wednesday of the week coming.
I think Jonathan Ogden got a head start that time.
Yeah, when he moves, it's like the city in Utah moving. You can't miss him.
Offense, number 75.
Which city is that? Salt Lake?
Ogden, come on, you got to stay with me on this quick stuff.
Why do I play the foil to you? I don't know. You see Jonathan there at left tackle again on the road, and even though this isn't one of the louder stadiums in the NFL, at the offensive tackle position, it is still tough to hear your quarterback, especially in this case, a new quarterback with a different cadence.
Ogden at left tackle, probably regarded by the NFL coaches as the best lineman or one of the top 2 or 3 in the league. That one is almost intercepted, and a brilliant stab by Sam Madison to leap in front of Terry Jones, the tight end. And Ugunleye greeting Anthony Wright with some pressure.
Well, Terry Jones is open initially, but the ball's a little late coming from Wright, and by the time he gets it there, you see that Sam Madison was able to react back in from the outside. And that was not Sam Madison's guy, but he was able to make an excellent reaction and come back in. But Jones was open for a heartbeat earlier. And Brian Billick, I'm thinking, is going, whoa, I don't want to see any more of those.
Second down and 15. And Wright drops straight back, throws complete to Heap, and the tight end who leads the Ravens in catches, coming in with 35. Led them last year, the only tight end in the league to top his team in catches when he grabbed 68.
And what a weapon Todd Heap has become. And if you talk to the Ravens, they'll tell you that, you know, when you talk about Tony Gonzalez and Jeremy Shockey, the other premier tight ends in the league, that they think what sets Heap apart is his excellence in run blocking. That he's a bulldozer at the line of scrimmage, and that he can take a defensive end on 1-on-1.
Third down and 7 from the 45. 10th play of this drive. Wright steps away. Caught from behind, almost fumbles, stays on his feet, dives to the 41, and is a couple yards short of a first down. And Ogunleye is there again with a defensive play.
Well, no doubt that Anthony Wright has tremendous feet, but he better keep that football a little closer to his body.
Ooh, that was close.
Look at that. I'm telling you right now, Anthony, you keep carrying that ball out there, and these Dolphins are going to knock it loose. You won't make it out of the first quarter carrying the football that far away from your body without giving it up.
6.5 minutes consumed on this opening drive, and finally Sam Simmons drifts back to return. Kick returns have been a disappointment for Miami this year. Nothing really special. Dave Zastudel knocks it into the end zone, and Miami's first possession will begin from the 20-yard line. No score here in the first quarter. Valuable ankle of Pat Surtain getting some extra rep. He didn't play last week at Tennessee because of that injury. We'll see if he returns. Miami from the 20. 8:17 left in this first quarter. Long drive, no points for Baltimore to open it. Ricky Williams' first carry is good for 4, almost 5 yards. And here's the starting lineup for the Dolphins on offense. Brian Griese gets his 4th straight start, hammered 9 sacks in the last 2 losses. In the line, Seth McKinney replaces the injured Tim Ruddy at center. And Ricky Williams, the NFL's #1 rusher last year, needs more than the meager 13 carries in each of the last 2 games. They'd like to get him up around 25-30, and you can see Griese not only sacked but coughed up the ball, fumbles and interceptions last week. Second down, Williams picks a hole and has a big one. He's across the 35 to the 41-yard line before Ed Reed can make the tackle. 16 yards for Williams.
How's that for a little explosiveness by a big man? And look at the hole off of left guard. And you can see the Ravens committed up to the line of scrimmage. Corey Fuller is up there, and once you get by that first wave, again, look at the hole, starts right and then cuts back to the left, and the Ravens really kind of caught napping with the cutback by Ricky Williams. I think they thought they were going to string him out.
That's Chris Chambers in motion, and then play action for Greasy. Throws back over the middle, incomplete. A dangerous cross his body throw intended for Randy McMichael. Gary Baxter there for Baltimore.
Well, Brian Greasy showing that he's not the only quarterback here with a little movement, but as you can see, his pass was well behind McMichael. And Baxter able to get his hand on the Ed Reed rather able to get his hand on the ball, but Brian Greasy had an open receiver in McMichael but put the ball back behind.
He asked Brian who his go-to receiver was. We'll give you that answer as Williams is dropped in the backfield by Ed Reed, the former Miami Hurricane who was the #1 pick by Baltimore. He comes in from his safety spot to make the tackle. And a look at the Baltimore defensive starters. Anthony Weaver, in his second year out of Notre Dame, has produced 5 sacks. Ray Lewis, the all-pro fulcrum of one of the NFL's top young defenses. And Ed Reed, you just saw him, like Ray Lewis, played his college ball here in Miami. He'd like to add to his 5 interceptions today. And there is Ray Lewis, as intimidating as any backer in the league. Plays with incredible passion. 3 wides. Greasy on 3rd and long. Fires incomplete off the fingertips. Chris Chambers a little high. Chris McAllister covering for Baltimore.
Well, Baltimore knows that Miami will run their patterns to the sticks, and that time Chambers was right there exactly where he needed to be, and that ball just floated on Brian Greasy. That would have and should have been a first down for the Dolphins.
Matt Turk, the veteran, to kick to Lamont Brightful. He stands at the 15. And there's action before the snap. No play. That's Reed, and you've got to keep your eye on him.
False start, offense, number 50, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And Reed has 3 block punts in his 2 years in that Baltimore Purple, 1 this year, and 2 of them have gone for touchdowns. This year, blocked a punt against Arizona and scored.
Well, throw in the fact he's got 5 interceptions from the strong safety position, an outstanding tackler. I'd say he's having a good year.
Oh, that was close, and it was Reed in there. Brightful lets it bounce, and that's a break for Miami as it'll trickle down inside the 20-yard line. 49 yards on the punt, and watch out for Reed. He was a fingernail away from another block.
On CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Friendly nonstop service all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. T-Mobile, get more minutes, more features, more service. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Tony Wise, the line coach for Miami, working with his men. As we remind you, if you're curious about where your favorite players stand in the league, well, you can check out our exclusive player rankings where we rate every player in the NFL by position each week. Click on NFL at CBSSportsline.com. Terrell Buckley takes over for Surtain at the corner. And on first down, the quick throw by Wright is complete to Marcus Robinson, the ex-Chicago Bear, and a pickup of about 6 on first down. Buckley makes the stop. Anthony Wright is from South Carolina, and we asked him yesterday, you know, the jump from 3rd string to 1st string, and he said, yeah, he was totally shocked, but it's happened before.
And keep in mind, it's not like he's, you know, just got to the Baltimore system 2 weeks ago. He was there all last year, and so he knows exactly what Brian Billick expects of him. So in that sense, that is a plus.
2nd and 4, and on delay, it's Jamal Lewis, really delayed by Jason Taylor. Taylor has had a frustrated season, only 3.5 sacks after last year's 18.5.
Must be very exciting for a running back to take the football and realize there's a defensive end standing there staring at you about 1.5 yards away. Jamal Lewis made the best of it, but talk about a dead play.
Interesting matchup, those tackles against the defensive ends of Miami. Talk about size differential. 3rd and 5, and Chester Taylor in for Jamal Lewis. Right to throw. Good protection, and incomplete as Marcus Robinson drilled by Buckley as the ball arrived.
How about Marcus Robinson keeping his feet? Number 87. Now Buckley's going to come from the left. Robinson doesn't even go down. That's showing me a little something for a wide receiver to take a shot like Terrell Buckley laid on it.
Yeah, referee didn't even start his count. Timekeeper at the bell didn't even get the hammer out.
All you do is wipe off the gloves and let them keep going.
Let's go. Sam Simmons back as Dave Zastudel, the left-footed kicker from Ohio University. This one is short, takes a bounce. A flag is down, and the ball will die right on the Miami 40-yard line. 37 yards. Now let's see about the penalty. Pointing at Baltimore. Personal foul. Block below the waist. And that would be on the Dolphins.
Personal foul. Low block. Receiving team number 20. The foul occurred during the kick. 15-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Arturo Freeman costs his team field position instead of the 40. The Dolphins will start at the 25. The right, and the Ravens unable to produce points yet. Kyle Boulder, who had that quadriceps injury, expected to be out at least 4 weeks. He's on the sidelines for the Ravens to give moral support. Greasy to Williams, and he moves the pile about 3 yards. And let's go down and visit with B Square.
Well, Dick, usually during tough times, Dave Wanstead will visit with his longtime friend and former colleague Jimmy Johnson. But this week, he decided to go for a little divine intervention. He visited with Leo Amherst, the Dolphins pastor, and he said, you know, it was good for me. I had to do a little soul searching, a little affirmation. He said, there's a sign in our locker room that says you never really know what's inside a person until you're squeezed. Safe to say, Dave Wanstead is just that.
Yeah, it's been in a vice here, a public vice, as Wanstead and this Miami team. On 2nd and 7. Greasy's throw to the sideline, off mark. So that's 3 passes from Greasy, and all 3 have been away from the target.
And I think it's just a case of Brian pressing a little bit, because you can see there's some tension in his throwing motion, and that you're right, Dick. And now he's going to start to really question. He's just got to let one go without thinking about it. The guy's been a quarterback all his life. He knows how to throw. Don't think too much. And again, I think it's just indicative of the pressure that this entire team has been operating under all week.
3rd down, and they do get the pass to Chambers, and it'll be a first down out across the 35. That's a rare conversion on 3rd down for Miami. In the last 2 games, they were just 2 for 20.
Well, it's really the same pattern Chris Chambers runs this time, only this time he curled it inside. And Brian Greasy was there with the ball. Remember, on the last 3rd down situation, he ran it where he went to the sideline and Greasy overthrew him. So good to go back to Chambers, and finally Miami has a little something to feel good about in their passing game.
Chambers leading the Dolphins in catches, 33 coming in. First down. Draw play to Williams, and he pounds it out across the 40-yard line, and a gain of nearly 5 into the arms of Ray Lewis and Corey Fuller.
Well, if you're a middle linebacker, the action is coming your way 90% of the time. And Ray Lewis has such great range and instincts, and of course what he needs is a better chin strap, because you can't afford to be a middle linebacker and lose your helmet like that on a regular basis. You won't keep that pretty smile that Ray can flash at you when he wants to.
They spotted at the 40, 2nd and a short 7, and Williams runs through 1 tackle, and he's out to the 49, and a Miami first down. And Lewis again in on the tackle, but not until Ricky Williams has the first down.
Run defense giving up only 93 yards a game, and it's because of the great range. But this is a rare situation where Ray Lewis fills at the line rather than flowing and scraping. And as you can see, he made a poor decision going inside and picked off by Conrad. And every good running game has to have good blocking by the wide receivers. That time it was Darius Thompson tying up his guy.
Williams again, and he is stiffed right at the midfield stripe, and look who got him. 52, Ray Lewis.
Well, we saw Ray Lewis scrape to the wrong hole last time. Well, this time it's the right hole. He is right where Ricky Williams cuts back right into him. He anticipates Williams. See, watch Ricky Williams. He's going to make a move back to the left. And as he does so, Ray Lewis is right there honoring his gap to pick him off.
And Peter Boulware to help out. A gain of about 1.5 yards. Greasy to the sideline, complete to Chambers again. Same pattern on the other side.
Yeah. And now I think you can see Brian Greasy, a very relaxed motion, a good follow through, and no resemblance to the guy that threw those first 3 passes of the game. Perfect, right on his outside shoulder to the sideline. No way Chris McAllister can make a play on that ball.
Oh, Chambers, who played his college football at Wisconsin, picked in the 2nd round because the Badger is not known for the big passing game, but he certainly has developed into one of the outstanding receivers. First down, and a good drive here being engineered by Greasy. No score late. Final minute of this first quarter, and Williams caught in the back. Make it Travis Minor who comes in to give Ricky Williams a breather, and he's caught in the backfield. And there's that safety, Ed Reed, coming up quickly again.
Well, penetration is the evil of all running plays, and that time Baltimore just across the line of scrimmage and completely disrupted the blocking scheme of the Dolphins. Norv Turner's had a lot of success on first down, and that's one of the few misfires where actually it was a negative yardage play.
Down to 10 seconds left in the quarter as Greasy sets his line.
In a lightning fast first quarter.
Wow. 2nd and 12. Underneath, incomplete. As the pass intended for Randy McMichael, and Ed Hartwell there to break it up with a solid jolt. That's the end of the first quarter. No score in Miami. We'll return to Pro Players Stadium after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We tend to visit there frequently.
There are fewer crabs there than there were before Friday night.
That's for certain. Still working on Terrell Buckley, who's replacing Patrick Surtain at corner and stretching him out. And looking at the 2 running backs, Ricky Williams with 36 yards rushing in the first quarter, and Jamal Lewis with 20. We'll kind of track that because it is key to the eventual outcome of this one. Williams and the Dolphins set up at the 41-yard line on 2nd, 3rd down and 12, and Greasy on the run, throwing long, incomplete for Newsom. Kendall Newsom, who was just activated last week, but Dave Wannstedt feels he'll give him some big plays, but he was well covered. Corey Fuller made the play.
Dave Wannstedt walking all the way down to the 20-yard line to voice his complaints. And that, you know, it's really the ball's underthrown. You know, first of all, the ball to Newsom, it's underthrown, and so that's why there ends up being contact. But as long as if you're playing the football, if you're even making an attempt to turn around like Fuller was, the flag's not going to be thrown.
Turk, it's a wobbler toward Brightful, who comes up to grab it at the 15-yard line. Oh, the Ravens, and we have a motion penalty, however, against Miami. We'll see whether Ravens will take it at the 15. That might be about as good as they can expect.
I think the one thing Miami did there, though, Dick, was good. They went deep.
Motion. Offense, number 50. Penalties decline. First down.
Oh, when we return, no score. Ravens with the ball at the 15. Go back to South Florida, and here's the question for you. Who do you think's the most impressive of the offensive NFL rookies this year? There's some choices. Bolden, Calico, Davis, Johnson, Leftwich. Some might even put Kyle Bowler, who's injured, on that list. You can vote at NFL.com. And there is Bowler, injured last week against the Rams. Quadriceps required some surgery, and they figure 4 to 6 weeks for him to return. He's not been put on the inactive list. And a long throw by Wright downfield, and it's going to be intercepted. Picked off at the 40, back into Miami territory, and returned inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Sam Madison, the ball-hawking veteran at the corner, has his 3rd interception of the season.
And I know right now that everyone in Baltimore is screaming because their receiver ends up on the ground. but in reality it's incidental contact as the feet get tangled up. The ball pretty severely underthrown, and Marcus Robinson just gets his feet tangled up with Madison. But Madison's the one who really makes the best break on the ball, which was underthrown by a couple yards.
36 yards on the return by Madison, and boy, you saw his speed to the ball those last 3 steps. Ricky Williams with a handoff, and not much there at all. Leading the tackle, Marcus Douglas, and we're going to go to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, fellas, we're going to take you to upstate New York. Buffalo hosting the Texans, and quarterback David Carr gets hit here by Jeff Posey. The ball goes through the back of the end zone for a safety. 2-0 Buffalo. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
All right, thank you, Jim. Here, no score early in the second quarter, but Sam Madison has given Brian Griese and the Dolphin offense a chance. At the Baltimore 22.
That could have been a big play for Baltimore, Dick. You got what you wanted, single coverage, just not enough air under the ball.
Underneath, and the throw complete to Ricky Williams, and he's inside the 15-yard line and close to a first down. Lewis and Boulware and Hartwell, the 3 linebackers, converge on Ricky Williams.
And I like what Miami is doing running the football. Great team defensive speed for the Ravens, and if you're going to really go at Ray Lewis, it's not to let him get ahead of steam coming at you. And as we look at Norv Turner, who's right here kind of behind that post, the offensive coordinator, run between the tackles against this defense. Make Lewis take on a 300-pound guard and negate that awesome sideline to sideline speed he has.
3rd and 1, and Ricky Williams has been perfect this year and is again. That's 7-4-7 on 3rd and 1 that Ricky Williams has converted the first down.
It's just so difficult to turn the corner against this Baltimore defense with a middle linebacker like Ray Lewis, and conversely it's that way against Miami too with Zach Thomas.
2 more yards for Ricky Williams in this first half than he had the entire game against Tennessee.
And that was in 13 carries last week. Of course, nobody in a Dolphins uniform played well last week at Tennessee. It was a complete whitewash.
Fake to Williams. Griese looks and finds James McKnight, and he battles his way to the 6-yard line in the grasp of Ed Reed, with Anthony Weaver coming back to help out.
Nice conservative pattern. And again, just sitting down, McKnight can't become more of a target. The corner to that side, Corey Fuller, not sure whether to take McKnight or whether to float out and pick up Rob Conrad, the fullback who's sitting out in the flat. And Griese made a good decision to go to the open guy.
McKnight with his first catch today, now 13 for the year. 2nd and 4.
The hammer.
There he is. Williams for a yard, though, to the 5. Cornell Brown in at linebacker, number 90, helping out on the tackle. But on the bottom of the pile is Kelly Gregg, the nose tackle, the Buddy Lee of that defensive line.
That's what Brian Billick calls his entire defense, my Buddy Lees. Nobody has any idea who they are. Remember, this was a defensive line that one time had Saragusa and Sam Adams and Rob Burnett.
On 3rd down, Griese with a roll, in trouble now, throws it away. Good coverage as Chris Chambers was really squeezed in the end zone. And the field goal unit, and Olindo Mare comes in to try to get the first points of the game.
Weaver looks like he's a little shaken up. And don't discount what 3 points means in a game that we expect to be as closely contested as this.
Very short kick, about 23 yards. And Mare drills it through. It does figure to be a very low-scoring game, and Miami has the first 3. Sam Madison's interception leads to the first points of the game, a short 23-yard field goal by this man, Olindo Mare. And Mare's missed 2 misses, 1 blocked against New England, and a loss to the Patriots here a few weeks ago. Still gnawing and nagging to this Miami team and their fans. Dave Wannstedt mentioned it again that we should be at least 6-3, but high kick comes down to Lamont Brightful at the 13. Got an avenue, 40, up the middle, 50. chased by Buckley at the 30. And Buckley finally gets him on the sidelines and pushes him out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. The longest return of the season for Lamont Brightful, 73 yards.
What's the key to success for both these teams? A strong running game, outstanding defense, and excellent special teams. And boy, this qualifies as excellent special teams play. Right here, when Buckley pushes Brightful out of bounds, that's the first Miami guy that even lays a finger. And Alindo Mari, well, if you're relying on him to do that in the open field, it's not going to happen.
So the Ravens from the 15-yard line as Anthony Wright under center. And a flag goes down.
And Wally Ogunleye.
Offense, number 86, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Ogunleye playing official there as he just walks across the line, taking a real chance that the officials saw it. They did.
A shining return for the man named Brightful. That's Zeus Brown, the big right tackle, saying, give me a break, I can't hear. 1st and 15. Lewis tripped up in the backfield and dropped at the 21. A loss of a yard, and there's that man again, Wale Ogunleye, to make a play. And he is emerging as one of the top defensive linemen in this league. 10 sacks with 1 today, and he's made several big stops. Man who reads Hamlet and Shakespeare, and this is a to be or not to be game, not to be your 5 and 5. Second and 16. Wright guns the ball incomplete, too low, intended for Travis Taylor. Pharrell Buckley was over there. A reminder that tonight on television's most watched new drama, Cold Case, no one knows who killed this All-American boy. Now, after 40 years, the mystery could finally be solved. Don't miss an all-new Cold Case tonight, right after 60 Minutes on CBS.
Well, the key here for Anthony Wright, you're within Matt Stover's field goal range. Do not make a foolish throw over the middle.
The lanky Wright dropping back and under pressure throws over the middle, incomplete. It went right off the kneecap of Chester Taylor, the running back.
Well, one of the premier matchups in the game, 2 All-Pros in Ogden and Taylor. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't gain some separation from Jonathan Ogden, if he gets his hands on you, especially inside, your pass rush has concluded right there.
Reliable veteran of 14 seasons, Matt Stover from 39 yards to tie it. It is good. It knuckled its way through the uprights. And with 10 minutes and 10 seconds left in the half, we're even at 3.
This was during commercial timeout. Brian Billick, an animated conversation with Anthony Wright, his quarterback. Brian Billick, a guy that's not afraid to express himself, and boy, look at him clench those teeth and grind them away. Ooh, he doesn't even want to let him go. He wants to chew on him a little more.
Wade Ritchie does the kickoff work for Baltimore, and he hammers this one to Travis Minor, and that's not returnable. They'll start at the 20-yard line with 10-10 left in the half. 3-3 the score.
On CBS is sponsored by the next Ford F-150, built Ford tough. IBM, official information technology partner of the NFL. And by Citi Identity Theft Solutions, free help getting your life back. That's using your card wisely.
And welcome back. Put the watch on me on this one, will you, Dan? Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, top Cowboys from the winter and summer tours come together for one final showdown at the Pace Picante Pro Rodeo Classic, presented by the Texas Stampede. Stop the watch.
You were on for the full 8 seconds.
8 seconds. All right. I finally won something. That bull cat knocked me.
Didn't have to send in the clowns.
I qualified in both categories. Ricky Williams hit at the line of scrimmage, falls forward for a yard. Marcus Douglas makes the tackle, and let's go to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, thank you, Dick. If you were there in Nashville, this would have been worthy of an oh my for sure. Justin McCarron's with a little juggling act, and yes, touchdown from McNair, 10-0. Tennessee over Jacksonville. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
Boy, that'd make a Major League outfielder proud to dig that one out.
Man, I'd like to see a replay of that. Boy, that was sweet.
Was that a touchdown? A touchdown in that game. Wonder if we'll get one in this one. Some think that this will be a all field goal game. Conrad, the fullback, a rare chance to run with the ball in the open field, and the big guy's out to the 39-yard line and a first down.
Well, this is a well set up screen. It takes Baltimore completely by surprise. You can see they're sold it to the right, took Ray Lewis completely out of the play, and a couple good blocks downfield. Billy Yates gets an awfully good one downfield. Seth McKinney, the center, down there as well. And Rob Conrad gets to strut his stuff a little bit in the open field.
17 yards on his 11th catch of the entire season. Ricky Williams tries right tackle and is stuffed after a 2-yard pickup, and Marcus Douglas again there to hold his ground, the 4-year veteran from Howard University.
You saw that strong safety Ed Reed came on a corner blitz that time, and I'm reminded of what Ray Lewis told us about how often they're going to blitz this Miami offense. He said, we're going to blitz on running downs, and if it happens to be a pass, we'll just pass the running back on our way to the quarterback. We're going to blitz, and then we're going to blitz some more against this offensive team of the Dolphins.
And that young protege of Lewis, Ed Reed, is a budding superstar. He can really play. What a catch! As leaping high as Randy McMichael, the tight end, and he's out to the 50-yard line, and that would be enough for a first down. Reed and Demps make the tackle in the secondary.
Well, I remember seeing Randy McMichael last year when he was a rookie and being so impressed with what soft hands this guy had. He was a good blocker and had good open field sense on running his patterns. And take a look at that. Here is Bob Greasy right here, and this is Don Shula sitting right over here.
Nick
Bonacani is right here. So how's that for a troika? 3 Hall of Famers.
Hall of Fame box. That is a regal place here at Pro Player today. And let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, you were talking about Ed Reed. We asked Ray Lewis of all of the young up-and-comers on defense which one really sticks out, and he said, in fact, it was Ed Reed. He says his preparation is second to none. He said, yeah, he's got his own apartment, but he has literally been at my place after work every day for the last month and a half looking at film with me, he said, and his conditioning's improved too. Why is that? Well, because he's been working out with Ray, which is no easy task.
And their relationship is a very strong bond. Ricky Williams giving ground, and that's a mistake as Gary Baxter comes up from the secondary to finish off the play. Peter Boulware cut off the corner.
And what did Ed Reed tell us also? He eats dinner there every night. I said, do you really? He said, yeah, Ray has his own chef. You think I'm going to go home and eat by myself when I can have Ray's chef cook dinner?
2 former University of Miami players. The other thing he said, have you ever heard this in all your years you've covered these athletes? He said, it sounds like you really do have a close bond. He said, it's true love. He really loves his teammate Lewis, who has been his mentor.
He was not ashamed to say it, and he said it in the most masculine of terms. I mean, really, admiration. And there's another false start.
Appeared to be Jamie Nails pulled off his stance.
Offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Got the wrong guy, Billy Yates.
Well, actually, Billy Yates is in, I believe, 4 Nails at left guard. So you had the right position. They just snuck him in there.
Wrong sub.
If you can sneak in a 300-pound guy.
Yeah, they're trying to give Yates more duty there, along with Seth McKinney in the middle of the Dolphin line. They've not done a real good job of protecting Greasy the last couple of games. 3rd down and a bunch. Greasy scrambling to the 40 and ducks down at about the 47. Gary Baxter making sure he didn't run for a first down.
Well, on third and extra long yardage, I don't think Baltimore was all that concerned that Brian Griese was going to be the guy that was going to run it for 18 yards or so and pick up a first down. But it was a good piece of field position that Brian picked up and wisely got down without taking a big shot.
Turk comes in to punt, and Brightful, who last time he touched the ball, he took it 73 yards on a kickoff return. Turk, very high, beautiful spiral. Brightful lets it go, and it hits the end zone for the touchback. 5:10 left in this opening half. It's all knotted at 3. Our pet tricks, and on the Late Show with Dave, he's got all new stupid pet tricks, plus actress Kate Blanchett and the latest Survivor castaway. Dave's all new again this week, right here on CBS. Ravens in this 3-3 tie start at the 20-yard line after the touchback, and the handoff to Jamal Lewis. And the Dolphins, one of the best rushing defenses in the entire league, have been tough on Lewis so far today. 6 carries and just 22 yards.
Well, one of the marquee matchups here is this fabulous rushing offense, and as you can see, almost 170 yards a game for the Ravens rushing, and compared to only 81 for the Dolphins. So this is steel on steel, a classic matchup. You don't see it very often.
Miami, the only team in the league not to have give up a 100-yard rusher this season. Here comes Lewis, and he's looking for a big chunk and has a first down and more out close to the 40-yard line before Brock Marion can bump him out of the field of play.
They not only haven't given up, I don't think they've even had anybody get to 90 yet.
They haven't.
That's what a fine job this defense has done. Junior Seau coming on the blitz, and as you can see, Alan Ricard, the fullback, does a wonderful job of picking Junior off in the hole, and Lewis bounces it to the outside. And at the very end, Brock Marion. Lewis, say hello to Mr. Lewis and get some love.
16 yards on the longest run for Jamal Lewis today, and batted down as Jason Taylor comes in to deny the pass intended for Ron Johnson.
I'd say that ball made it about a foot out of Anthony Wright's hand before it gets blocked. Well, maybe 18 inches.
Jason, he played 1 year of basketball at Akron, and I asked him what kind of player were you, and he said in one word, fouler. My strength.
Well, if you're going to be a person, I assume he liked contact, playing defensive end, he's in the right spot.
You bet. 4:02 left in the half. 2nd and 10. Right to the near sidelines to Todd Heap, and Moreland Greenwood gets him around the shoulders and twists him down after a short gain.
Well, anytime you throw a pattern that short, you're really hoping that the guy who catches the ball can break a tackle, and that's what Todd Heap does very well. But Greenwood that time exemplary with an open field tackle, and really didn't let Heap get more than maybe a yard or so after the catch.
5 for 11, Anthony Wright passing, and 30 yards. 3rd down, and call it about 6.5. Wright under some pressure, then throws this side. It's complete to Marcus Robinson, and that will depend on where they mark it. At the 50, 1st down.
Now there is a wide receiver who's got some experience and knows exactly where to break off his pattern. Marcus Robinson runs this, gives himself some room to be able to come back to the football, and yet by less than a yard pick up the yardage for the 1st down. Too many times we see receivers in this league that are lackadaisical in their sideline awareness.
Well, they have a college connection. They were at South Carolina at the same time. Anthony Wright a couple of years behind Robinson, as Junior Seau makes the tackle on Jamal Lewis after a couple yards.
Well, Ray Lewis isn't the only premier middle linebacker in this game. How about Zach Thomas? Oop, maybe I went a little too far to the left. I'll whiff the blocker, and I'll make my reaction back to the right and get in on the play. Miami runs what they call a funneling defense. Everybody takes a position to try to funnel the ball carrier towards Zach Thomas.
Interesting now, both Jamal Lewis and Ricky Williams with 41 yards rushing, and it's going to stay that way, maybe back to 40 for Lewis, who is stuffed by Moreland Greenwood and Junior Seau.
Well, Junior Seau doing what he does best, and that's get close to the line of scrimmage and go. He might get blocked sometimes, but he more often than not creates a little chaos in there that disrupts a play.
And there's the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Game still tied at 3.
I would have gone vanilla with that sweater.
Ice cream.
Backs running about the same yardage.
3-3 might be the least surprising thing I've seen in a long time. And how the points come? One off of a turnover and the other on a good special teams play. And that's how we get to this score. And then the two big guys, the hammers, look at that, 40 and 41 yards respectively, although Williams being held under 3 yards a carry.
And that's been a concern of the Dolphins.
Yes.
His average on the season is 3.3, while Jamal Lewis is averaging 5.4. Right over the middle, has a man open, Chester Taylor, and that'll be good for a first down to the 35-yard line of Miami. Fletcher and Freeman, two backup defenders in the secondary, make the tackle. Chester Taylor, who has been a good spot player for Brian Billick from Toledo, ex-Rocket. And now Jamal Lewis comes in at tailback. Fake to Lewis, and on the roll it's Anthony Wright throwing to the sidelines to Todd Heap, and it's short yardage, maybe a couple to Sammy Knight, the strong safety, made the stop. And a reminder, stay tuned for the Nextel halftime report coming up at the intermission. Jim and all the guys will bring you up to date on the first half of the early games, scores and top plays on the Nextel halftime report.
Now, Dick, here we are with a little over a minute left in the first half, and Anthony Wright, without a lot of experience, there's a limit, I think, to how quickly he can run this offense. In other words, if you're in a true hurry-up situation, but thankfully Baltimore still got all 3 timeouts.
Lewis met in the hole and dropped after a short gain as Junior Seau got his 250 pounds and 14 years of experience in the right spot.
Well, Junior Seau, such a physical presence in this league for all of these years, and he chooses wisely, I might add, to go really low on Jamal Lewis and get him around the ankles.
Oh, third down. 3 wide receiver set this time, and Anthony Wright back in a shotgun.
And watch for him to run on purpose.
Here comes Seau. Make it Jason Taylor. Seau picked up on the blitz, and Taylor shoots through and has a rare sack for him, and it's a big one because it pushes Baltimore deep for a field goal try.
Well, Jason Taylor is actually playing middle linebacker in this nickel situation.
They got him away from those big tackles, and a flag has been thrown.
Jason Taylor actually lines up about 4 or 5 yards off the ball.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 83, 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, 4th down.
Now they are out of field goal range as Ron Johnson, the wide receiver, probably retaliating, and he was caught on the flag.
And because it's a dead ball foul, it's tacked on at the conclusion of the play, which means you don't get the down over, anything like that. A killer series right there. Those last 2 plays for Baltimore, a sack and a personal foul. The double win.
And they were within about a 52-yard field goal opportunity. Sam Simmons is back on this punt from Zastudil. And with just 30 seconds left, the ball sails high, and Simmons lets it bounce out of bounds at the 1-2-yard line. What a kick by the left-footed Zastudil, and we have a timeout. Danger, not just NFL, but Thursday on CBS. No scripted drama. It's Survivor, and if you think you know who's going to get voted off next, think again. All new Survivor Thursday at 8/7 Central here on CBS. These fans settle back. We're just seconds away from halftime, and that reminds us the Nextel halftime report coming up. Jim, Dan, Dion, Boomer, they'll have all their comments on the early action on the Nextel halftime report.
And if I'm Baltimore, I call a timeout as soon as this play is over.
They've got all 3 remaining. And it's Travis Minor.
Call a timeout. Take a timeout, guys.
And they apparently will at 18 seconds.
Darn right.
Brian Billick figuring maybe we'll get a chance to put them in punt formation in their own end zone. And that tough Ravens defense trying to stuff Miami's hopes here on 3 quick downs, 3 quick timeouts, and hope there's time remaining to force the Dolphins into punt formation. Yeah, not so. As up the middle goes Travis Minor, and Minor across the 20 all the way out to the 29-yard line.
And critically, Minor stays in bounds.
Dallas Thomas trailing the play made the tackle.
And Baltimore's happy to just get out of here now. Okay, all right, good idea. We didn't pull it off.
Minor's longest run of the season, 26 yards. And that is the end of the first half, and as expected, a couple of field goals, and that's been it for the offense. Defense prevailing here at Pro Players Stadium with Ray Lewis leading Baltimore and Zach Thomas for Miami. Let's go on to Bonnie.
All right, Brian Billick, we've seen Anthony Wright get some pressure from Jason Taylor. Overall, give me a report card for the first half for him.
Well, you know, it's a tight game, physical game. Can't turn the ball over and make mistakes, mental mistakes in the red zone. Imagine Dave would say the same thing. You can't make mistakes and expect to win a game. So we're going to have to see if we can come back in the second half and not make the mental errors we've made.
Coach, thanks.
Yeah, it's those, no matter what the sport, it isn't the physical errors, it's the mental mistakes that drive head coaches to their psychiatrist.
And how close did we see a big play there? Now, how about that? Have been a heck of a way to end a half,
wouldn't it? It's 3-all, Baltimore and Miami, and we'll be back with the next halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.
You might think that's true. Again, what would we see in the half? We saw points off a turnover and points off a big team on special play. And this is a game that just tells you that a mistake or a big play is what's going to make the difference this closely fought. And if we look at the halftime numbers here,
what surprises you here?
Well, what really surprises me is Baltimore, how they're actually throwing the football more than they're running the football. Baltimore has run 12 running plays and 16 passing plays, which means Brian Billick is putting the ball in Anthony Wright's hands more than he is Jamal Lewis. That's
shocking.
Yes, to say the least.
But part of maybe try to catch the other team off guard, not expecting that. And we thought we'd see some plays designed for Wright to run them, but we didn't find that either. Travis Minor is back deep. And Richie's kick into the end zone, and the Dolphins will get it first at the 20-yard line. Take a look at Miami's leaders, and certainly we almost should have the defensive leaders, but a look at those on offense. Greasy 50%, 58 yards, but no mistakes. Ricky Williams solid enough, 41 yards, and had some key runs. And Chris Chambers with a couple of catches that led to first downs. The one field goal on a short field after Sam Madison's interception, and a return inside the 35 of Baltimore. Williams goes outside, and it produces a first down across the 30-yard line. Chased out by Gary Baxter. Good block by Darius Thompson, the wide receiver.
And Dick, we just got word that one of Baltimore's defensive ends, Anthony Weaver, he's out for the rest of the game. He's got a stinger. And this is just improvisation by Ricky Williams. That play was intended to go between the tackles, and he bounces it all the way to the outside. That's just strictly Ricky making something out of nothing.
Add 11 to his total. Ed Reed on a blitz, picked up. Wide open is Chambers, but he's short by a step on the throw. He felt he was held up by Chris McAllister and looked for the flag.
Well, he puts a double move on McAllister. Watch the break to the sideline. Here, right, and here goes the up. And McAllister tried to grab him. McAllister reached out and actually tried to grab Chris Chambers and couldn't get him. It wasn't through lack of effort by McAllister.
That's right. He was desperate.
How lucky was he? Not only was it an incomplete pass, but he even missed on getting the penalty.
Second down and 10 from the 31. And it's Williams up the middle, plows for 3, and we'll go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, after Ricky Williams had just 36 carries in the last 2 games, Dave Wannstedt said we have to be patient. We want to get Ricky the ball about 30 times. He's about halfway there, had 14, now 15 for 41 yards in the first half. He said, I think we're doing a great job running him against Ray Lewis and Baltimore's defense. We're also having to keep it on the ground more because the wind has been a big factor today. He said, I think Brian Griese's feeling more comfortable and getting in his zone, but the wind has been a big factor.
All right, Bonnie, you see Jamie Nails, the big offensive guard of the Dolphins. Jamie Nails, that's a lot of man there getting attention, working on the left ankle.
Well, he got caught up in the pile, fell on his left leg.
Billy Yates, you saw 73, has replaced him as Griese throws complete to Chris Chambers, and Chambers battles his way to midfield and a first down.
Now that's a nice throw by Brian Griese as he finds Chambers, and again Chambers working on McAllister, but this time it's against the zone of Baltimore, and he finds that soft spot, and look at that, both safeties miss the tackle, and Chris Chambers keeps fighting for positive yardage. And you can see Chambers is the go-to guy in this Miami passing attack as he outshines all the others.
First down from midfield after the 16-yard pass play, and Ricky Williams has 5, has 10, 11 yards to the 39-yard line. Chris Chambers showing that he can block out in front of the runner as well. Ed Hartwell made the tackle.
And that was the block that made it all happen. Right there on the wing. Take a look at that block on the inside. That's 81 who makes a good block right at the, and then here we go again. There it is. Look at Chambers. They're working on McAllister. Spins McAllister all the way back around. We're getting the Chris Chambers, Chris McAllister show going here, both running and in receiving.
Interesting matchup as Ricky Williams numbers up to 66 rushing. Griese a pump fake, and he goes downfield incomplete, intended for Darius Thompson. Worked on Corey Fuller, the other corner for Baltimore.
Well, Brian knew there was a safety coming over deep, so he had to put the ball to the outside, and he just put it a little too high and a little too far outside. Even though it was a little long, I think it also was out of bounds.
You saw Brian's dad, Bob Griese, the Hall of Famer, and of course a great quarterback here in Miami, up with Don Shula. Brian, the youngest of 3 Griese boys, he was just 5 years old when Bob retired, so he barely remembers sitting in the stands and seeing Daddy play. These uniforms, same colors, and Ricky Williams chopped down by Ed Reed, and Reed reacting quickly again from his safety spot to make the tackle.
You talked earlier in the first half, Dick, about what a complete player Ed Reed has become, and considering he's just a kid, his 2nd year, but look how he comes, scrapes off the pile so closely that Ricky Williams doesn't really get a good look at him, and then a good, solid, sure tackle. This guy is going to be a multiple Pro Bowl football player over the next years. He is really going to be good.
5 interceptions as a rookie last year, 5 again this year, 3 block kicks. Batted down. We got center of the field unless it hit one of the Miami Dolphins linemen.
We got some Pro Bowl holding going on that play.
Billy Yates was working on Jarrett Johnson.
Offense, number 73. Penalties decline. 4th down.
You talked about a rodeo earlier, Dick. I think we got a I think we had a contestant right here.
Calf roping. And Turk comes on with the punting team for Miami, and drifting back is Lamont Brightful. He has the one big play for the Ravens that led to their field goal in the first half. High wobbler. Brightful says stay away from it. Miami sees it go out of bounds inside the 5. Turk plants it at the 3-yard line.
By Southwest Airlines, friendly nonstop service all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. Circuit City, we're with you. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
So the Ravens backed into their own end zone, and the huddle will start from the 3-yard line. Junior Seau, one of the leaders in his first year here in a Miami uniform, and certainly has gained full respect of his teammates and the Dolphin fans. And it looked as if the Miami Dolphins were offside as Jamal Lewis is dragged down shy of the line of scrimmage by Jason Taylor. No flag. Look at the Ravens on offense, Dan.
Well, again, not a whole lot happening except Anthony Wright with those 14 attempts really surprises me. Jamal Lewis knocking it out for a little over 4 yards a carry. And Todd Heap, well, nothing new that he's the leading receiver for the Ravens. He is game in and game out.
Loss of a yard on first down. Lewis again. And they do arrive at the ball as Brock Marion comes up from the secondary to help out Tim Bowens.
Oh, Junior Seau was really arguing with one of the officials, and how close. Looked like Zach almost had a play in the backfield. Watch Zach. Oh, that's Junior with the penetration, and he's complaining he was grabbed, and he had every right to complain. He was grabbed on his way through.
He was looking at a two-point tackle, wasn't he? That
sure was.
Safety. And the crowd letting its presence known here. A sellout, although not every seat occupied on this sunny Sunday. Third down from the 4. It's Lewis again protecting the ball. Breaks a couple of tackles and fights his way to the 10, but that'll be a couple yards, 3 yards shy of the first down. Rob Burnett, a former Brown, former Raven, making the tackle.
Well, Jamal Lewis almost makes something happen here. He's got good blocking. You know, there's not penetration, and when he bounces it all the way to the outside, if he could just have broken one more tackle, he could have gotten something, but Rob Burnett was all over him. And now at least Zastudil has some room to punt by getting a couple yards away from the goal line.
So Zastudil will kick this one from inside his own end zone. And Sam Simmons, first-year player out of Northwestern, drifts back to the 33, 40, 45, and 47-yard line. And welcome back. It's tied at 3, and Miami with good field position to start at the 47-yard line.
Cheerleaders have a lot of energy saved up as we've not had a touchdown barrage.
Not a lot of leaping and pom-pom waving today. Ooh, Ricky Williams does not get back to the line of scrimmage as Peter Boulware and Ed Reed shoulder to shoulder put the stopper, and he has not gotten up yet. Ricky Williams.
You think Baltimore is committing 8 men to the box when the strong safety makes a tackle behind the line of scrimmage? I would say that that's a commitment to the running game, and Ricky shaken up, heads to the Miami sideline.
That was a vicious hit. It puts Williams to the sidelines, and Travis Minor, the third-year back from Florida State, who had that long run at the end of the first half that got the Dolphins out of their inside the 5. Jamie Nails hoping to walk off that ankle injury. He's doubtful to return. Second 11. Greasy doesn't quite get it there on time. It was to Kendall Newsom. Kid that played at Middle Tennessee State, had a couple of catches at Tennessee last week.
Well, Dave Wannstedt saying he wants to get Newsom a lot more playing time. That's where he's got to come back to the ball. Come back to the ball about a yard and make your job a whole lot easier rather than just turning and squatting and sitting in the exact same spot. Still, though, a ball that got there, he should have caught it and held on.
Corey Fuller, the veteran from Florida State, able to reach in and snag it. 3rd and 11. Boulware on the blitz, a throw down the middle, incomplete to Chambers. So Miami finding the third quarter, as it has been all season long, a veritable drought. They've scored 1 touchdown in this third quarter all season.
Well, Dick, we were here when Miami got beat in overtime by New England, and I can't help but think that that game's lingering on. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games after winning 4 in a row prior to that New England game, where they could have won it if Lindo Mari makes a field goal, but they went into overtime and lost it.
Well, look at Reed. He was in on the kicker again, Turk, and up comes Brightful to make a diving catch on the fair catch at the 23-yard line.
And a heck of a good play by Brightful. Saved the Ravens a lot of yardage. But watch out, man. Ed Reed's going to get one of these before this is over.
Beach is a major league sandcastle. Look at the work in that. Junior Seau could care less as he focuses in on Anthony Wright. And this Ravens offense that has not been able to generate much. 102 yards total offense. Jamal Lewis picking his way. It's about 3 out to the 26. Seau led the charge. And tonight on CBS, no one knows who killed an All-American boy. Now, after 40 years, the mystery could finally be solved. Don't miss television's most watched new drama, Cold Case, tonight after 60 minutes on CBS. Fans looking for some offense. Gonna need the binoculars. It's still 3-3. Full credit to these two great defenses. Right into the flat for Lewis. The pass behind him, and they're going to say incomplete, that he didn't have control as he went to the ground. Zach Thomas there with a defensive play.
Well, Zach's taking a look at this thing coming on the blitz. But it's exactly what you want. That is exactly what Baltimore wants. You get the middle linebacker coming on the blitz. You got your running back outside, flipping the ball out in front where he takes it in stride. If that had been the case, Jamal Lewis had picked up 15 or 20 yards. That's a perfect scenario that the Ravens didn't capitalize upon.
Zach Thomas, 6 straight years he's led the Dolphins in tackles, and of course the leader again this year, even though he missed last week. On 3rd and 8. Wright scampering for his life, and a flag down, and Wright still on his feet to the 25-yard line. Well short of a first down. Junior Seau credited with a tackle, and that would be a sack. And now the penalty.
Holding offense, number 75. Penalties decline. 4th down.
6-time Pro Bowler Jonathan Ogden trying to help out Wright.
Well, Ogden going one-on-one this time against, guess who? Jason Taylor. There they are, right to the right side of your screen. You can see that that's to that point in time. Oh, and there when Taylor tries to go that direction, Jonathan Ogden didn't let go of the jersey and held him up, but it really was an inconsequential penalty.
There's the biggest gunner in the league, Dallas Thomas, 270 pounds, the double team, as Estadell kicks it to Simmons. At the 33-34 yard line, tackle made by Chester Taylor. Flag down on the kick. Back at the 30-yard line.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 51, 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
Tommy Hendricks, the guilty partner. 7:13 left in the 3rd. And welcome back to Miami. Tied at 3, midpoint 3rd quarter. After the penalty, Greasy and the Dolphins start from inside the 20, and Williams tackled in the backfield as Kelly Gregg, the nose tackle from Oklahoma. Great penetration. And right there, in case needed, was Ray Lewis. And speaking of Ray, he continues to lead this great Baltimore defense. Why don't you see how he continues to motivate the new players year after year on this Baltimore club? You can find out on NFL.com. Lewis digging in on 2nd down and 11. Greasy throws, incomplete. Good defensive play on Darius Thompson by Gary Baxter. Fans wanted a penalty, and they got it.
Pass interference, defense, number 28, automatic, 1st down.
Well, let's take a look at it. Just a quick slant pattern, a good throw by Greasy. And that looked like awfully good coverage initially by Baxter, but he did get there early. But we're talking nanoseconds early. A lot of times you'll see that timing that goes by without being called.
That's right. But it is called, and the first down across the 30, and Greasy on first down throws underneath to Ricky Williams, and there's the ever-present Ray Lewis pushing him out of bounds. Peter Boulware putting pressure on the quarterback Greasy, and it may be a foul on Boulware.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, through the quarterback, spun into the ground, 15-yard penalty on number 58 defense. Automatic first down.
Well, that's an ouch for head coach Billick.
Well, Peter Boulware, take a look at this. It's all what happens at the conclusion that he spun him to the ground. Hey, the quarterback is going to be protected at all costs by the officials. Hardly a life-threatening move there by Peter Boulware, but nonetheless, that's today's NFL.
See worse in flag football. Greasy throws back across to Ricky Williams. Got a little running room. 40. Little athletic move as he vaults his way down to the 37 over Ray Lewis.
Ray's walking around going, what just happened? What the heck just happened here? Let's follow Ray on this entire play. All right, I'm trying. First of all, he just gets smacked by Todd Perry. Back up and but boy, does he plant Ricky at the end of this play. You think there's any hustle in Ray Lewis?
Oh, that is a terrific example of why he is a great player.
You think there's any hustle in Ray Lewis? He gets leveled by Todd Perry, bounces back up, and not only gets in on the play, but makes the play with a big hit.
Travis Minor with that last carry for short yardage. In fact, no gain. You know, Lewis, while he is incredibly tough and passionate and fast, he's also a terrific student, as Ed Reed, his teammate, would attest. Every night, film every night, trying to pick up some tips. And back in comes,
guess who?
Travis Minor, and Minor hit by Ed Reed.
Yeah, what an unusual circumstance that Ed Reed might be making a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Keep in mind, folks, this guy's a safety. He is in the backfield. He is at the line of scrimmage. Ed Reed is almost exclusively being committed here to this Dolphins running attack.
Second down and a short 8. Moving into field goal range, the Dolphins. Ricky Williams caught in the backfield, and this time it's Marcus Douglas, the defensive end. Well, as you all know, CBS Monday night's a terrific lineup with Yestier and still standing, Emmy Award winning Everybody Loves Raymond, 2.5 Men, hit show CSI Miami, and of course after your local news, join Dave, the Late Show with David Letterman. Monday on CBS, America's most watched network. Now Miami winning the offensive battle, however meager for both sides. Big ball, 3rd and 7, a draw to Williams, and did not fool Chad Williams, and he's a safety too.
Well, not only that, but they were at the yardage for about a 50-yard field goal by Alinda Mari, and now they lose 2 or 3 yards on this play. Oh, no, that's of all the times when you didn't need a negative play. And now Mari's got to go, well, at 52, 53 yards, and you can see his percentage back there is way down. As you can see, it drops down to 47% from this distance.
53 yards. It's on target. It is good. His longest of the year. 53 yards equals 6-3 Miami.
He puts it in the net. That thing just doesn't barely clear the crossbar. It's into the net at a 53-yarder.
Yeah,
Dick, I think that'd have been good from 60.
It would have been. Officially, Dan, they've now changed it to 52 yards. Nevertheless, it equals 3, and it's his longest of the season. Lamont Brightfield, who had the big 73-yard kickoff return in the first half, a bright spot. And he won't get a chance to return this one as Mari's adrenaline really flowing. Hit it all the way to the back line of the end zone. His 14th touchback that leads the NFL. Well, on Wednesday, CBS, the Victoria's Secret supermodels hit the runway for a night I guess you don't want to miss. Join hosts Heidi Klum and Tyra Banks, and then musical performances by Sting and Mary J. Blige. The Victoria's Secret fashion show Wednesday at 10, 9 Central on CBS. We understand that tickets to that are going for like $12,000, but you get it free on CBS.
Well, in lieu of touchdowns, let's just keep showing that promo after every other play.
Why not? The throw to the sideline complete to Marcus Robinson, and Anthony Wright has a first down on the 12-yard pass. And now a late flag comes in.
And I think this one is going back.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty on Orlando Brown. What's up in New York, Jim Nance?
Well, the Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of people thought they might be up to this today to pull off the upset of the unbeaten Kansas City Chiefs. They have taken the lead here, Dick and Dan. Jeremy Johnson kicks the pylon for the touchdown. 10-6 Bengals. Let's go back to you.
Well, that unbeaten streak of the Chiefs in jeopardy in Cincinnati. And, of course, Cincinnati only one game behind the Ravens in the AFC North. Todd Heap on the receiving end, barreling through a couple of defensive backs and knocked out of bounds shy of the 30-yard line by Zach Thomas. Just to remind you, here are the standings at the start today in the AFC North, with the Ravens in the lead, but Cincinnati just a game back. And with an upset of the Chiefs, is there an upset when you're at home in the NFL?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Of all cities in the NFL, this one is not rooting for the Chiefs. There's a lot of Cincinnati fans in Miami here who want that 72 team to remain the only perfect team.
That's right.
And speaking of that 72 team, there's a whole bunch of those guys walking around here today.
Yeah, they're proud of that perfect 72 season.
Oh, man. Don Shula. There's Don Shula right there. Nick Bonacani in the blue shirt. Bob Greasy is up there in the blue. That's Bob up at top. Here's Bob up here with the glasses. Jim Mandich, their tight end right next door to us, who does their radio. There are a lot of Cincinnati fans here in South Florida today.
3rd and 1. And Lewis, he doesn't get there.
He didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage.
Sammy Knight came up to support. Junior Seau was there. And, of course, in the middle, those two big 325-pounders, Bowens and Chester.
And Jamal does his best. He just tries to lower the shoulder and burrow his way in there. But this is just a total stuff job by the Dolphins defense. They stood up the offensive line and actually pushed them backwards.
Baltimore now with 6 first downs and 6 punts. Zastadell with the 6th, hitting it toward Sam Simmons. Simmons at the 25. Flag is down. 35. Will this count? It's all the way to the 42 of Baltimore. Now we'll check the penalty. Tackle made by the snapper, Maese. And the penalty against Baltimore, and of course Miami will decline that and take good field position.
Player out of bounds, went out on his own. Kicking team, number 27. Penalties declined. First down.
Well, some teams call him the flyer, some the gunner. Here's the biggest one in the league, Adalys Thomas, and he gets double teamed. And folks, let me tell you something. This is a guy who's their starting outside linebacker, so he has, you know, his reward for getting double teamed and knocked around like that is to stay out on the field and start playing from the line of scrimmage.
32-yard punt return by Sam Simmons positions the Dolphins at the 43.
Of course, I say that they're going to give Thomas a breather on this particular time, and he heads to the
fans booing. That first down call was to Williams, but Williams has been producing. Kelly Gregg made the stop.
Well, I don't know that they can boo the call. I think they're booing the results. But look how Ricky started the season with 125 and 153 in the second and third weeks of the season. But since then, it has been really dismal, especially the last 2 weeks at only 36 and 37 yards. The NFL's leading rusher last year, really not getting it done this year, but it's tough to lay that on his doorstep alone.
Greasy, good protection. Now he's chased and throws it away. Gary Baxter on the safety blitz, and the safeties, Reed, Baxter, Chad Williams, they've been coming on every other play.
Dick, when you're struggling in the running game, you really don't point to one person and say, here's why. It is always a combination of events. It might be the lead blocker not getting, it might be the time the play is called, it might be the blocking of the line, it could be a misread by the running back, but it is normally a community sharing of the guilt when you're not running the football very well.
10 seconds left in the quarter, and on 3rd down and 11, Greasy steps away from pressure. Now he throws long and open is Chambers, but Reed comes back. It wouldn't have counted anyway. He was out of bounds when he made the play. And there is a ball hawking Ed Reed again in the middle of things. At the end of 3 quarters in Miami, with the Dolphins leading the Ravens 6-3. We'll return to Pro Player Stadium after this message. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL. And now here we go to the 4th quarter. It's 6-3 Miami. Oh, almost blocked again. This time it was Terrell Suggs, the rookie from Arizona State, and Brightful with a fair catch down inside the 15-yard line. So the 4th quarter underway. Battle of field. Never telling what you're going to meet at Starbucks in the morning, and those two chaps, real fans, down here to root for the Ravens.
Wonder what time they have to. Wonder what time their pass ends.
13-yard line. And Wright gets away from the pressure from Taylor and dumps it off to Todd Heap. Tackled at the 23-yard line, and Jason Taylor so close to getting Wright.
Well, again, this is what Brian Billick talked about, putting Wright on the move and let him do something with his legs. And Jason Taylor had that play perfectly analyzed. He just couldn't react to that nice juke move by Anthony Wright, and that is all on Anthony Wright making that play happen.
Deep with 6 catches to lead all receivers. 2nd and 1. Jamal Lewis has the first down at the 25-yard line. Well, great NFL Sunday, and coming up next Saturday, this is the big one, the SEC West title hanging in the balance. Matt Mock and the Bayou Bengals against Eli Manning and the Rebels of Ole Miss. The action begins with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on Olympus College football today. A big SEC battle next Saturday. Averaging just 3.3 on the season, 5.4 for Jamal Lewis. Fake to him. Right, lots of time, guns it behind the receiver, Travis Taylor.
And talk about having a wide open guy. Anthony Wright can't believe he misfired that badly.
Well, a guy that hasn't thrown a ball in a regular season game in 2 years.
Working against the Miami zone, and he is just completely wide open, and that ball a good 2 yards back behind him.
Listen to this, Dan. They're in the 60s, Baltimore. Rushing yards, 66. Passing yards, 69. Penalty yards, 68.
That's not the balance you're looking for.
Lewis dropped after about 3 yards as Junior Seau having a big game. The sure tackling Seau came here from San Diego for a draft choice from the Chargers. Brought more than just his talented tackling. He didn't want to come out. Look at that reaction. He'd like to stay in there.
Well, he wants to play every down, and of course Miami defensively is going to look at this as a passing down. Coverage is not Junior's specialty.
Right on 3rd and 6, steps away from pressure. Now he's going to run it and cuts it inside where he's hit at the 36-yard line, and it would appear he has the first down. Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and others. Arturo Freeman had a chance to stop him shy of the first down, but missed the tackle.
Boy, how's that for a little power by a quarterback? Anthony Wright, when push comes to shove at the last minute here with a yard to go, decides, well, you know what, I'm going to have to do my Jamal Lewis impersonation. And look at that. He just powers right on through the Miami defense, and Arturo Freeman, as you mentioned, I don't think he can believe he got run over by a quarterback.
Wright, who looks taller than 6'1", carries 211 pounds. Lewis has some daylight for the first time in a long time, and the last Dolphins get him. Brock Marion at the 45 with Moreland Greenwood trailing the play.
Well, in a closely fought game like this where field position is everything, now Baltimore really has something going for themselves. Pinned back at their own 15-yard line. Quickly, they're into Miami territory. And we haven't seen Jamal Lewis get loose in the secondary this game. I'm sure that felt awfully good to him to stretch his legs a little bit.
It was a 19-yard rush, and that is the longest run against Miami's defense all year. 19. Chester Taylor replaces Lewis. He gets the handoff. And Zach Taylor rides him down at the 40, but it's a 5-yard gain.
Well, we've seen Ray Lewis go from side to side. Now it's Zach Thomas's turn to show his stuff. Look how and it's the key, knowing when to take that outside shoulder, which he did that time of Edwin Mulatalo, the left guard. But he took the outside shoulder where he was able to scrape off, play side into the football. You know, little things like that. That's what determines what guy is another linebacker and which guys are Pro Bowl linebackers.
Yeah, they don't weigh the heart of a man, and his must be about 50 pounds. Lewis has a first down as he skips inside the 35-yard line. Bonnie, what do you have for us?
Dick, understand every time Jamal Lewis runs the ball, his big, beefy offensive line loves the fact that he leads the league in rushing. Jonathan Ogden said, you know what, I'm a pretty good pass blocker, but that's not what I love to do. For all the people who say you need to have 500 yards of offense to win the game, he says that's no fun for linemen. We are old school. We'll pound the ball on offense. We'll pound the ball on defense. That's the way football should be played.
And he guaranteed that Lewis would get 100 yards today. He's 15 yards from it. This is Chester Taylor, and a little change of pace from Taylor. A flag flies as Taylor would have another first down.
Now this one's coming back. This one's coming back. This is going to be a holding call against the Ravens.
Holding offense, number 82, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Referee Terry McCauley throws this flag from way back behind. And this one's tough to miss. A complete takedown by Terry Jones. And unfortunately, a lot of times you can hold if you're in a pile, but you're going to see some holding taking place right here. Watch this. That's you're just out in the middle, and you're not going to get away with it.
It takes it out to the 39-yard line, first down, and about 15. And the throw complete to Todd Heap, and Heap has his 7th catch. Greenwood and Knight with the tackle.
And as you said, Dick, Greenwood and Knight, Todd Heap, especially at this juncture of the ball game, you wouldn't think is going to get away with anything that doesn't draw double coverage from the Miami Dolphins. But an excellent throw that time by Anthony Wright, putting the ball up in the air, let his 6'5" tight end go up and get it. This guy is special, folks. This guy is awfully good.
Second down and 3. And Jamal Lewis unable to get much. Goonlier again with the tackle. A reminder, next Sunday, folks, it's a CBS doubleheader. We'll be up in Buffalo for the Colts and Bills, the early game, and late it'll be Oakland at Kansas City. Will Kansas City still be unbeaten? It all starts with Jim Nantz and his all-star team, 12 o'clock for NFL Today. Third down, a long 2. Fake toss. Wright keeps it, but a flag is down, and it'll be
going to have a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 89, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Boy, Brian Billick about to swallow his bicuspids.
Well, on a short yardage play, you don't expect one of your wide receivers to be the guy that's called for offside. They can't even hear the snap count out there. Their only job is to look in and react at the snap of the football. It's relatively uncomplicated.
So third down and 7. That certainly changes the thinking of Billick. We'll see what the play call is as Chester Taylor, not Jamal Lewis, stays in. Todd Heap is slotted to the right. The throw for Taylor in the flat. Cut down at the 27, 3 yards short of the first down. Junior Seau makes the play. Take a look at the percentages here for Matt Stover. His longest is 49 yards this season. Longest ever is 55. This one will be 45 or just inside 45. Was Astudillo to hold. 67% from this range. You can bump the percentage a bit, as that one couldn't be more perfect. Well, what do you know? Another field goal. It's tied at 6. This one headed for overtime. Travis Minor deep. Wade Ritchie hits a low skipper. That'll roll through the end zone, and Miami once again will start from the 20-yard line. First this time out.
See if getting very physical. So watch your step, 'cause if I do, you need a miracle.
That's more than appropriate. These two defenses, physical, squared. First down at the 20 for Miami, tied at 6. We have 7:42 left in the fourth. Ricky Williams at tailback. Greasy throws out to Rob Conrad, and the fullback gets what appears to be a first down, just shy of a first down. A 9-yard pickup, and we go to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, guys, some were expecting Dante Hall maybe to break another one today. How about from the other side? Peter Warrick with a 10-6 lead. The Bengals add to it as Peter Warrick returns at 68 yards for the touchdown. 17-6 Bengals with 12.5 to play. Back to Dick and Dan.
Yeah, they're screaming their approval in Cincinnati, and fans here in Miami, when they see that touchdown score up on the board, will love it as well. Raymond Lewis in there to try to rip the ball away, and he and Ed Reed had it packed all week. Said, we've got to score on defense. That's how we're going to win the game in Miami. We got to find a way to score on defense.
Well, once again, they create a negative play. That about a half-a-yard loss for the Miami running attack, and how critical is them converting this third down from a field position standpoint.
And look at this, on 3rd and 2, they're in a shotgun. Greasy throws, incomplete. That should be interference. It is. Chris McAllister was all over Chambers.
Oh, and he can't believe that he's going to get flagged for this. Chris McAllister just out of his mind.
That seemed quite apparent from long range that he made early contact.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 21. Automatic first down.
Well, here's the matchup right down here. This is Chris McAllister. Take a look at it. Let's try to judge his timing. There's no illegal contact. And he does hit him from behind and move through Chris Chambers before the football arrives. No doubt about that call.
So first down on a 5-yard penalty out to the 33. Greasy, they pick up the blitz, and Greasy throwing it off the field of play. Darius Thompson was the closest Dolphin. A reminder tonight on CBS, what's Steve Kroft doing trespassing at a chemical plant? Well, maybe he's demonstrating how easy it would be for a terrorist to do the same. That's tonight on 60 Minutes. Then it's TV's most watched new drama, Cold Case, and special CSI 2-hour crime scene investigation. That's all tonight right here on CBS.
Well, Miami now has to pay the price for an incomplete pass on first down. 2nd and 3rd and long are not the specialties of this offense.
Look, Ed Reed comes through on a safety blitz. They go the other way, but for little yardage as Chris Chambers is tackled by Adalis Thomas.
Look at this effort and the timing by Ed Reed as he comes off of the near corner. Here he is right here, and watch him come in and talk about selling out as he tries to get Brian Greasy to the ground, even though Ricky Williams did a good job of cutting him. But still, man, Ed Reed, hard to play a much better game than this guy's turning in today.
We haven't seen a safety play any better all year.
And how close has he come to blocking a couple punts?
3rd and 10 for Greasy. Down the middle, intercepted. intercepted by Reed. Reed at the 35 and down at the 37. There he is. He makes another big play. He was waiting for the pass cut in front of Thompson and has his 6th interception of the season.
Well, how about versatility? He's nearly blocked punts. We've seen him make tackles in the backfield. The play before this, he's at Brian Greasy's ankles, and on this play, he's going to make an interception 20 yards down the field. Ed Reed read that all the way, and that was literally an uncontested interception.
And this may be
he's sitting back in the safety position. It's a 2-deep zone, and he just routinely steps in front and makes the pick.
And Randy McMichael, who made the tackle, the big tight end for Miami, is injured on the play. They've just announced Cincinnati leading Kansas City 17-6. Brian Greasy throws his first interception today, and Ed Reed, in 26 games in the league, now has 11 interceptions. He scored 3 touchdowns, 2 of those on block punts. Talk about a playmaker. Played at the University of Miami. He said he was never a Dolphin fan. Grew up in New Orleans area, rooting for the Saints. Here's Baltimore's chance on a turnover from the 36. Jamal Lewis met right at the line of scrimmage by Zach Thomas and Tim Bowens.
Well, Ed Reed creates the turnover. Here he is sitting back here, and you're going to see Thompson come in and watch Reed in a passive role. Normally the guy is all over the quarterback in the backfield, but he's just sitting reading Greasy, and boy, that's awfully easy. Brian Greasy completely unaware that Ed Reed is sitting back there in the deep spot, and that's about as easy an interception as a safety's going to get.
No gain for Lewis on first down. Anthony Wright under pressure throws, and it's intercepted by Miami. Sammy Knight, and Knight at the 40. And wrestled down at the 47 by the quarterback Anthony Wright. So turnabout, fair play. Interception, 2 interceptions. Sammy Knight's 2nd interception of the season.
Well, let's check out middle linebacker Zach Thomas as he comes on the blitz, and you can see he just takes to the air and then going downfield trying to find Todd Heap. Sammy Knight, the strong safety who's got a lot of the coverage on Heap. Just boy, watch 2 safeties make just almost the same play, stepping in front of a receiver coming from that deep safety position.
Ricky Williams, who has really been stymied since having a good opening quarter, is averaging less than 3 yards a carry.
Sammy Knight gets the interception, but you know, if this was basketball, Zach Thomas would certainly get the assist for that pass rush and disrupting the throw of Anthony Wright. No way could he step forward and step into the ball.
We have an injured Dolphin on the play. Todd Perry, the right guard. We've seen Jamie Nails, the other guard, starting guard, leave with an ankle injury earlier in the game. Greg German, who is the last offensive lineman remaining. Tim Ruddy, they'd like not to use him.
Yes,
he's in uniform, but
right.
he's injured, and that's why Seth McKinney started.
Right, German is the last healthy lineman that the Dolphins have in reserve.
There's the veteran Ruddy, 61. Well, obviously, as always, and one of the good things that have happened through the year, it's a cautious on any injury are the training and medical staff of NFL teams.
Well, it's been such a struggling Miami running game, and then of course every time one of their offensive linemen has to come out. Nails is already out. Ruddy, the normal starting center, isn't playing. Now we're looking at Todd Perry having to come out. There's Tim Ruddy, who's got a bad knee, and hopefully he'll be back next week. Jamie Nails, we saw him get hurt earlier here in the second half. So right now, if Perry comes out of the ball game, and Mark Dixon, who would be a starter on this offensive line, is on IR and out for the year for the Dolphins. So this has been a devastated offensive line for this Miami group.
We talked about Ricky Williams and the running game. He starts with 36 yards on his first 7 carries, but since that first quarter, 18 carries, 24 yards. So that's 25 times he's taken the ball today for 60 yards. Talk about yards tough to buy. Well, next, top pros including Greg Norman, Steve Elkington, Sean McKeel, Chad Campbell, Rocco Mediate, Lee Chance, and many others. They're teaming up at the Franklin Templeton Shootout. That follows our football action here from Miami. Stay tuned for the top men in golf. That's just across the way, the state over on the west side.
Take a quick trip across Alligator Alley, and bam, there you are. Beautiful Naples.
Second down from the 50-yard line, 2nd and 7. And up the middle goes Ricky Williams, and he burrows his way close to a first down. He may have it. Ed Hartwell, along with Marcus Douglas on the tackle. Rob Conrad in front of Williams, leading the way.
You're right. He gets a good lead block from Rob Conrad, and a good job by the offensive line of making it look like a pass. But then it's Ricky Williams' power for the last 3 yards. He gets help along the way, but Ricky gets credit for the last 3.
They'll have to measure one of the rare measurements we've had the last few weeks. It's the first of the game.
Sure looked like he picked it up relatively easily. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. 3/4 of a football.
A reminder that Thursday, CBS, the suspense keeps building on Survivor. First, a grueling reward challenge that'll lead to adventure on the high seas, plus an immunity competition where it's kill or be killed. And if you think you know who's going to go home next, you better think again. It's an all-new Survivor, Thursday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. On first down, Williams, he's caught at the corner as Douglas, playing a solid game, number 94. Shut off the outside, and Ed Hartwell was there to finish the job. Help from Cornell Brown.
I didn't know that in my lifetime I would cover a game where neither quarterback, with less than 4 minutes left in the game, has passed for 100 yards.
It's been a phenomenal defensive display. Let's display. Let's see, 95 yards for Wright, and Greasy has 99. So watch out.
But still, this is hard to believe. Oh, could it be?
He's got 100. More importantly, it's close to a first down to Darius Thompson inside the 35, and that puts Mare, the way he kicked the last field goal, in range.
Well, Brian Greasy had to earn the throw to go over 100 yards, because this is a mighty nice toss that he makes off his back foot as he gets wrapped by Cornell Brown. Good pass right onto the hands of Darius Thompson.
And Peter Boulware a little slow coming back on the field of play after making the tackle.
Boy, this is the same position of the field, Dick, when we were here for New England, where we saw Lindo Mare miss a field goal that would have won it for the Dolphins. But remember the difference between now and then?
Dirt versus turf.
Dirt. That's exactly right. The Marlins were still playing football, and he had to kick it off the infield. What'd I say? Football? Yeah, the Marlins were playing baseball. I do know that much. Jack McKeon, I tell you one thing, he's got every 70-year-old ex-manager thinking, hey, I'd like to come back. I'll bet you some GMs around the American and National League have been getting some calls from some of those old geezers.
But Florida Marlins World Baseball Series success is going to haunt maybe Miami, but missing that field goal. They test the middle with Ricky Williams, and Ray Lewis rejects on first down. And clock running down toward the 3-minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
Well, I'd like to get a whole lot closer, Miami. This is no time to think that we're within Mare's range. I know technically you are, but man, let's keep grinding away, guys, if you want to make it easier. He's got a 52-yarder today, and his career long's a 54-yarder.
This would be a 47-48 from this spot, but Greasy's trying to move him closer. Goes down the middle, completed, intercepted, and then dropped as Randy McMichael had it, and then it fell into the arms of Chris McAllister. Gary Baxter broke it up, and McAllister actually had his fingertips on it.
That is as pretty a pass as you will ever see. Look at the touch Brian Greasy puts on this football. Look where he drops this in against outstanding coverage right onto the hands of Randy McMichael. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's perfect. On a scale of 10, that's an 11.
That was Baxter, not McAllister, that had a chance at the interception. So third down and a long 7. The throw to the sidelines. Oh, was that dangerous? And what a catch! No. Chambers did not maintain control as he hit the sidelines as McAllister cut in front of him, and that was inches from going a touchdown the other way.
Well, Chris McAllister will do this. He'll take chances, and this ball kind of hangs. And he makes a one heck of a play on the football, doesn't get it. And look at the effort by Chambers. Whoa, that was an outstanding effort by Chambers, and he almost did it.
So here comes Olindo Mare. This one will be a 49-yard attempt for the lead. It is no good, and just as he missed to the right side against New England from about that spot, actually closer, he misses again wide right. It remains tied at 6 to the delight of the Ravens across the way.
And this crowd not used to seeing Olindo Mare not come through in the clutch. And like a sliced drive that ends up in the woods to the right, it misses the fairway by about 2 yards.
And into the intermediate rough, but you don't get points for that. So it's a 48-yard miss officially, and Brian Billick, he wasn't shouting, it's good. He is, and we're back in it here, tied at 6, 2:29 to go. Jamal Lewis, short yardage, and burrowing in was Sam Madison from the corner to get down low on Lewis. Each team with all 3 timeouts remaining. As that ticks down the 2-minute mark, we'll see if Baltimore gets a play off.
Doesn't look like they're in much of a hurry.
Now Wright's looking at the clock, and timeout. 120 seconds to go. Will we go overtime? Well, my partner has said through the years how much he really has great respect and adoration for kickers, punters, and field goal kickers. So this is your kind of game.
Yeah, well, you know, it's got to come down to this. We knew this was going to be a close, tight ball game. I think what's really critical right here, though, is that Anthony Wright doesn't have a whole lot of experience in this situation, and the pressure is really on the Baltimore quarterback right here. They may get into a hurry-up situation, and he's had no time to practice it.
On second down, a good leaping catch by Travis Taylor along the sidelines that gives Baltimore a first down in Miami territory at the 48.
Well, that pass right there by Anthony Wright is huge, because it takes not only you get out of bounds, you only burn up 6 seconds here towards the end of the game, but it really buys you a comfortableness back in that huddle. All of a sudden now you don't have that far to go. You're not looking at insurmountable odds. You only need about 15 yards or so.
We saw Matt Stover warming up. First down throw by Wright out of the back, right off the chest of Chester Taylor. Zach Thomas was close, but that ball should have been caught. Let's go to Jim Nantz in New York.
Oh, it is getting wild, guys, in Cincinnati. Kansas City, of course, unbeaten. They just went 5 plays, 92 yards, got a touchdown. But just 2 plays later, look at Peter Warwick get free, and he's off 77 yards for a touchdown for the Bengals. 24-12 with 6 minutes remaining. Let's go back to you.
Well, the Bengals are really treating their fans, aren't they?
That's why you play the game, isn't it?
Second and 10. Jamal Lewis hit in the backfield by Zach Lewis, and Zach Thomas and Lewis able to pick up maybe enough to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Tim Bowen's there along with Zach Thomas. Well, they've heard the score. Bonacani Greasy and their coach Don Shula in that booth, knowing
they'd like to get the double whammy today. They'd like to get a Dolphins win, Kansas City loss. That's pretty much a perfect Sunday for those guys.
Listen to this crowd on 3rd and 10. Wright goes long, and falling is Marcus Robinson, and they got tangled along the sidelines. He had a step into the open.
Yeah, he's just running. I believe Terrell Buckley is the corner. There's Buckley, and this is just man coverage all the way. And again, Buckley almost looked like he tried to grab him and couldn't do it. And then Robinson just loses his footing and goes down.
So Zastudil to punt to the Dolphins, and with the incomplete passes, a full minute remaining for Miami. Sam Simmons at the 15.
Well, it looked promising for Baltimore there for a moment when they crossed midfield, but talk about fizzling out in a hurry.
Well, Taylor had that pass over the middle, and he had some running room right off his chest. High, beautiful kick. That's headed toward the end zone. Well through it. So with 51 seconds remaining and all 3 timeouts, Miami will put it in play from the 20. And in this situation, less than a minute to go, you probably don't take any chances, but if you get a good play and get some yards, then you change your mind.
But the difference here is this is a team with an experienced quarterback. Brian Griese's been in the National Football League for 6 years. Keep in mind, he had a year in Denver where his season-long rating was like 103 or something like that.
Yeah.
So Brian's been to a few rodeos now. He's no stranger to this.
Well, his lifetime completion percentage is around 65%. But they go with Ricky Williams, the safe play to the 23, and then call time.
And the play-calling crowd.
No, they didn't call time. And so the fans unhappy, but down deep in your own end. You don't. Even Zach Thomas's fan club. This is a situation where you're going to take your chances in overtime, unless you get a big play. 20 seconds to go. No big play on this one, but Williams does barrel out to the 29-yard line. Lewis makes the tackle. You've got 3 timeouts to spend, but that less than 10 seconds to go. That'll be it. We're headed for another overtime.
And the crowd, I think, really expressing the frustration that this South Florida crowd feels towards the Dolphins with them losing 3 out of the last 4. Even going to overtime tied up is not making anybody here, a pro player, very happy.
Well, it's such an uncharacteristic Dolphin team. They, no matter what, in many years, going way back into Shula, at home they won. Here this year they're 1-3. Heads or tails, that sometimes can be confusing.
We were here last time. Remember, it was New England here playing the Dolphins, and there was some confusion about what was called. And overtime, well, you ought to know them by now. We'll see who gets possession with the coin toss, and it's only a 15-minute period. 2 timeouts, and the first team to score wins. And keep in mind that all replay situations are handled upstairs, not by coaches' challenges.
Heads is the Eagle. Tails. What is your call? His call is heads. It is tails. Miami won the toss. With the ball. Turn around, please.
That's part of the confusion.
Won the toss. Will receive. Good luck.
Eagle always was tails in my league. That's part of the confusion. We're ready to go in overtime. Well, normally when the home team wins the toss of the coin and they get to receive, there's a huge roar. But in light of this game and how tough it's been to score, I'm not sure that the fans wanted the ball first.
You know, Dick, it would take a real brassy coach in overtime to elect to kick off rather than take the football. But if ever you felt like arguing the point, this might be the situation. Now, if I'm Dave Wannstedt or Brian Billick, I couldn't do it, but you could really argue the point here.
That's right. That would be a tremendous risk. Yeah. But based on this game, that might be the little sanity left. Travis Minor. And once again, it's a 20-yard line play. Boy, the ball really carrying left to right on all the kickoffs. And the running game for Miami just slowed down to a walk. They're averaging well under 3 yards a carry since the first period. So that puts Griese in a position behind a line that is makeshift at best, with 3 injured players that are normal starters on the sideline. And Griese only 109 yards throwing the ball.
12 of 29. Not very glamorous numbers.
Conrad, who's had a couple of good catches out of the backfield, and here's Ricky Williams. Stop, start, and go for 15. Reed and Baxter, the safeties, get him down.
I think Ricky Williams at times just completely stuns people with his ability to stop, start, change direction, and accelerate. For such a huge man, he really is extraordinarily light on his feet. And sometimes I think defenders get lulled into sleep and underestimate his ability to make something happen.
And with those 16 yards there, he's now up to 95 for the game. Right back to Williams. And plenty of purple company there to greet him, led by Kelly Gregg, the nose tackle.
Boy, did Randy McMichael, the tight end, get caught in an awkward position.
You see where Olindo Maury, that's for his longest field goal. Miami would have to advance down to the 36-yard line as we welcome those of you that have been watching Jacksonville and Tennessee. It's tied here in overtime. Overtime just beginning. Baltimore and Miami at 6. All field goals. As on 2nd and 8, Greasy fires complete to Conrad. A flag down, and the fullback for the Dolphins down at the 47-yard line. Now the penalty flag thrown from deep in the secondary.
Well, it's against Baltimore, so this play will count.
Holding defense, number 21. Penalties decline. First down.
Chris McAllister.
Well, we've seen Chris McAllister. He's working the slot right inside here. And you can see, well, that's right. He didn't do a whole lot to Chris Chambers. Just grab him, spin him around, and throw him down.
A 17-yard play that Miami accepts. And so Maury, who has missed a field goal from 48 yards that would have won it late in the 4th quarter, tuning up that right leg. Greasy going long for Chambers. And they went right after McAllister again, didn't they?
Well, we saw Chambers earlier in the game put that double move on McAllister and really get away with it. And again, even like they did the first time, the Dolphins weren't able to make a completion on the play. This ball high and outside away from Chris Chambers. You know, I think back to Brian Greasy saying, you know, in Denver I had Rod Smith. He was my go-to guy, and I always knew where he would be. And he said, I just haven't been here long enough to develop that relationship with any of these Dolphin receivers.
He was very candid about that, wasn't he? Here's Ricky Williams. Only a yard for the big running back. Thomas down low to make the tackle. So Maury hitting a long one from 52, his longest of the season, but missing this one from 48. Looked good halfway there, and then it sliced to the right. That was remindful of a dire miss against New England that would have won the game with the Patriots that New England took away from Miami in overtime. 3rd and 9. It is batted in the air and then knocked incomplete as McKnight, the receiver, Tom Knight, an extra defensive back, number 22, made sure that there wasn't a second chance.
And James McKnight did a pretty good job of, once this ball was batted up in the air, trying to fight for it, and he might have prevented an interception. McKnight's going to go back there, and he really kind of ties up the arm of Tom Knight, and that was really close to being a big play for Baltimore.
Well, the Dolphins get the first chance in overtime. Now we'll punt. Matt Turk to Lamont Brightful. And he'll take a very handsome bounce for Miami down to the 9-yard line. So Brian Billick's Ravens get their first opportunity in the extra period. Was on the long field goal by Maury, 52 yards. Stover tied it with a 45-yard field goal, and those of you who've just joined us, that's Anthony Wright, who was listed 3rd on the 3 deep all season long and last year. Gets his first start with the entry to Kyle Bowler. He's 13 for 24, 106 yards passing. Jamal Lewis leading the league as the top rusher, and the Miami defense that has not allowed a 100-yard rusher all season, the only team in the league to say that. Again, tough on Lewis, who has a total of 91 yards now with that carry.
Well, it's a long way to go, but that's how far you have to go to get into Matt Stover's range. And keep in mind that Wade Ritchie, who kicks off for Baltimore, will attempt a really long field goal if it comes to that for these Ravens.
Yeah, kicked a 56-yarder this year. This is Chester Taylor in for Lewis, and as a change of pace, he's out to the 14-yard line where Tim Bowens gets his 325+ pounds on him. And it's third down for the Ravens.
Well, what we're looking at for Baltimore to get into field goal range is a long, sustained drive. And, Dick, that has not really been the tone of the afternoon for either one of these teams.
I think there have been a couple of drives with 3 first downs, and that's about it.
That would be intoxicating. That'd be a mega drive.
All defense has right back to throw. Hit as he throws, completes to Todd Heap, and he's tackled immediately at the 20-yard line, and a flag down, and the Dolphins may get a roughing the passer penalty. They will. The catch to Heap, and he was drilled, and he gets off slowly.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. Hit him in the face. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You can see Jason Taylor shaking his head, disagreeing. The call is that he's going to hit Anthony Wright in the head. Oh, and he most certainly does. That will bring the flag every time. That was a pretty good right cross. You could see the head of Anthony Wright snap back after that shot by Taylor.
Meanwhile, the Ravens without their top receiver, Todd Heap, the tight end, who went limping off. He has 8 catches in the game. Jamal Lewis fumbled the ball. A scramble, and this will be big.
Oh, to fumble the ball without even being touched would be just backbreaking.
It's Miami's.
Oh, how big is that? A mishandled handoff.
Well, a new quarterback, and Lewis, who had 2 fumbles against the Rams, never really had possession of the ball. Zach Thomas was down the bottom of the pile.
Well, initially, you can see the ball is inside the arm of Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis, initially, when he hits the ground, has the ball. Oh, this is just backbreaking for the Ravens. And it looked like initially Jamal Lewis had the ball at the bottom of the pile, but as we all know, it doesn't matter who had it first, it's who gets it last.
And you could see Zach Thomas digging all the way. And an angry, frustrated Lewis, as Miami now in field goal range. It would be about a 50-yarder from here. Ricky Williams only a yard, so it's still overtime in Miami. What do you have for us, Jim Nantz?
All right, guys, Kansas City not giving up here. The Chiefs put together another long drive, and Green, feeling all kinds of pressure, finally runs free and finds Dunn for the touchdown. 24-19, 3 minutes to play. Cincinnati football, back to you.
Well, that Kansas City Chief team, no matter how far they've been behind, they were down by 17 to Green Bay and able to pull it out. That high-octane offense. Here's Ricky Williams skipping up the middle to the 30-yard line, where he's hammered by that tough interior defense of the Ravens, as Murray, who has missed from 48, and that's about what this one would be if they tried a field goal on 3rd down.
Well, when you've got a veteran quarterback like Brian Griese, and he's going to come over and talk to his teammates here and say, guys, look, believe in me, I've been here before. If they elect to put the ball in the air, which I think they would, I would have every bit of confidence that Griese could pull it off. I'd try to do it. I wouldn't settle for this yardage.
Ricky Williams has 100 yards in the game, and now some more on the draw. Gets another 5. That could be big. That'll shorten the distance for Murray, make it about a 42-43-yard field goal. And here they come.
And if Olindo misses this one, I'd head for the tunnel.
He had one blocked late against New England and then missed one in overtime that would have won it.
And the Jamal Lewis fumble, right? You know, remember he fumbled twice last week in that loss against the Rams that really hurt them.
Here it is to win, 43 yards. It is gone. That one was fading the way the one he kicked that missed, but it stays inside the upright, and on all field goals, Miami prevails 9-6.
And a strange turn of events. The Dolphins actually win at home.
Only their 2nd victory in 5 home games. and back-to-back tough losses for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, their defense is so good.
Well, we won't know for sure until the coaches tell us that who's to blame for that fumble, whether it was Jamal Lewis, was it Anthony Wright, who wasn't, maybe not in the right position, didn't get the football where it needed to be. But either way you look at it, it was on the ground, and Olindo Mare, who got a second chance, delivers.
The Dolphins, Dave Wannstedt, under a lot of pressure, public criticism all week long for this 5-4 start of a highly favored Miami team. And Brian Billick saw his defense hold high-powered St. Louis to 121 yards on Sunday last and lost. He doesn't give up a touchdown today, his defense, and another tough defeat to assimilate. Ricky Williams with 105 yards led the way for the Miami Dolphins, who started the day 2 games behind New England and put some pressure on the Patriots. Stay tuned for the NFL Today after the game with the scores and highlights, and that Cincinnati-Kansas City game still going. From Miami, Dick Enberg, Dan Dierdorf, Bonnie Bernstein, thank you for being with us. A defensive struggle as advertised, and a final mistake by the Ravens leads to an overtime field goal by Mare and a Miami victory 9-6.